the official podcast here in a minute.
Okay.
Make sure everything's up and running. And I wish I could figure out a way to push it over to my group easier. It hasn't. Do you see it live, Andrew?
Yeah, it's up on YouTube.
Hey, Karen. Hey, Andrew. Hey, Caleb. How's it going, guys? Oh, there we are. Look at us. I'm sure there's a better way to do this, but you know what? I kind of like it this way. With all the AI stuff in the world, you know what it can't do is screw things up the way I do. So that's how you know it's live. Is it Max L or is it live?
I've heard of that in a while.
Yeah. I can't get to it on YouTube, but I'll trust that we're live. It says we're live.
Yeah, we're live. We're good.
All right. Oh, there I am. God, I hate looking at myself. All right. So I'm so excited for tonight. These are the ones poor Tim. He doesn't realize what a celebrity he is to us.
He was just on Lou the other day.
Yeah. That was a good one.
The only reason anyone knows who I am. So.
He does. Well, Lou's like the Force. He binds us. Puts us all together.
Brings us together.
He is a force.
Chris, I don't know if you're... Hey, Karen, did you get your shirt? Did it come? I did get all that stuff in the mail last Friday, by the way. Tim, I'd originally... Well, I'd promised Karen a shirt a long time ago because I'm such a terrible proofreader and typist that I ran kind of a contest that whoever found the most mistakes I made online...
oh boy!
And it was neck and neck, but Karen's really good at spotting those things. And then Chris had actually bought a mug from my store, but originally, but mostly Disney, and they won't print anything with the word Disney on it. So I had to redo the whole thing as BMD, and I finally got them in the mail. It's been a long time coming.
Hey.
So. Oh, and Karen's still getting snow. She's in Maine. Yuck.
Oh boy.
All right. Well, I'm excited. So let's fire into it, shall we?
Yep.
Hey guys, and welcome to But Mostly Disney. As always, I'm Tater here in Virginia, and with me is my friend on the other end in Charleston, South Carolina, Andrew.
Good evening, everyone.
And I'm not even going to delay it. We're going to jump right in. I'm just so excited to have our good friend back for the second time. And if you'd have told me when I started listening to WDW Radio that I'd be talking to Tim Foster, not once, but twice, I would have slapped you in the face and called you a liar. But here with us tonight is our buddy, Tim Foster.
Hey, Tim.
Why don't anyone slapping you in the face? That's terrible.
Well, it's Virginia's a tough state.
A glove.
Right.
Well,
how dare you?
I'm really excited to be back. I didn't think I'd be on here, that you'd have me back twice. So,
What?
And tonight, I'm excited too, because it is definitely so I've eased into Figment, right? Like I did not, hey Tony, how's it going? I did not get Figment, and just Tim, when we complain about snow, Tony's in Alaska. So
oh my goodness. All right. I have no room to complain anymore.
Yeah.
I guess.
Every time
6 inches of snow.
That's right. Every time I start to complain, I go, "Oh, Tony's here." So that doesn't work. And Kyle, hey, what's up, buddy? So my, you do a Patrick Warburton impression? Tim?
What?
Is that true? That's exciting.
You.
Me?
Kyle
says
literally...
you do a Jimmy Warburton does a Patrick Warburton impression.
Yeah.
Junior aviators who don't measure up to the height indicator.
There you
That's
go.
all I got.
That's perfect.
Nice work, pal.
Nice work, pal. And cute Lee's little beauties, right? My wrong ride. Right park, wrong ride. Attraction. Sorry, attraction. My son does every time we walk by, and he's 20 now, but every time we walk by Woody's the Slinky Dog Dash, he just goes, reach for the sky, unless you're riding Slinky Dog Dash, in which case keep your arms in your. It's really funny.
That's awesome.
I might have to put that on a t-shirt. But if you don't know, and you should, and if you haven't, then run, don't walk to order Tim's new book, which is all literally the definitive history edition of Spaceship Earth, which is by far the main must-do attraction for me at Epcot, even over Guardians. If I had to choose, I would pick Spaceship Earth 100 times. And though I don't normally do research, I did watch a lot of videos today about Spaceship Earth just so I could pretend like I knew, more than Buckminster Fuller, who I do know because he built a geodesic dome here in our town that they tore down.
Really?
Yeah.
I should have interviewed you for this book.
Yeah, right.
Wow, that's amazing. Wow.
Yeah, we had it was appropriately called the Dome, and they was down at the ocean front. It was just kind of like the Rolling Stones played there. I mean, they had some big concerts a long time ago. And I want to say they tore it down when I was about 19 or 20, somewhere in there, because the rescue squad used to have their oyster roast. This is really not fascinating, but it's things I know.
That's cool, though.
Yeah. So let's get to it. So Tim, why Spaceship Earth? What made you pick this one, and what do you love about it?
Well, why not? Well, I'm like you. It's so hard. If someone were to ask me what's my favorite attraction in Epcot, well, I'd hem and haw and not come up with an answer. But Spaceship Earth is at the top of the list. It represents so much that what we love about Epcot and about Walt Disney himself, and going back to the original plans for Epcot, the city, and then how the park, and how Spaceship Earth just is the embodiment of what Epcot is: edutainment and education, and lots of fun. But you might learn something along the way. And it's actually probably the reason that I got hooked into Disney in the first place. I've told this story a few times, but I did go in 1971 when I was little, but I didn't go back until 1993 when my wife took me for my birthday. And we went to Epcot at night on the monorail, and I've heard of this place, but I didn't really know much about it. But I knew it was this different kind of park. We were at the Magic Kingdom, did all that. And then we went there. It was October. This is back when nobody was in the parks in October. And it was a cool autumn evening. The sun's going down, and we see this amazing structure in front of us. And I think my first reaction was wow. And my second reaction was, wait, we can go inside of that thing? What, there's a ride in there? So we did, and hit every place in Future World, and we're just blown away. It was unlike anything we had seen before, obviously. And that started our journey, and we haven't looked back since. So Spaceship Earth has a special place for me because it kind of started my journey into this magical place that we all know and love. So
I love that. And it's really, kind of now, maybe a little bit Figment, but it's kind of like the last bastion of the original kind of, our iteration of Epcot, not Walt's, but from the original, let's learn and have some stuff from tomorrow come to us. And it still looks futuristic, right?
Yeah. And it's the thing about it too that I always liked is, as you go through the book, you see this. There's so many different aspects about it that you can talk about. There's the attraction that's inside. There's the structure of it and how it came to be. And you mentioned Buckminster Fuller just now, and how the who's who of Imagineers that were involved in putting it together, and all the trivia and fun facts and weird things and things that have gone on over the years with additions and subtractions and things that have changed and so much. So there's so much to explore as the more you look into the history of it and even just walking through it. So lots to uncover.
So one of the things I found today that I thought was fascinating is that that Spaceship Earth is, of course, the ride inside. It's not the ball, technically, right? Is that what and that's what I understand. Is that the ride is Spaceship Earth, and then it's just a geodesic dome that houses it, and that came from Buckminster Fuller's book, right? The Spaceship Earth instructions, which is
for the attraction,
yeah.
Well, I mean, I don't know if there's really separation between the structure and the attraction so much. I mean, they are one and the same. But the cool part about Buckminster Fuller's involvement is that the idea that he not only influenced the attraction inside in terms of the book that you just mentioned of Spaceship Earth and where the term came from, and the idea of communication and the history of mankind being told through that story. There's that part. And then there's the part kind of independent of it, just the structure of it and the geodesic dome and all of that, which is also him. So it's kind of interesting that there's two very important things that he did influenced the inside and the outside, but in different ways, which is really cool.
Yeah. And he's a wild dude. Like, he's fascinating.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, if he had, I mean, I guess you look, it's but mostly Disney. I guess I could do a whole episode on Buckminster Fuller just for fun anyway.
You could. Hey, and speaking of domes, don't forget about the Wonders of Light Pavilion over there, which is lesser known, and not there anymore, but lesser known, but another geodesic dome structure, which is maybe not quite as impressive, but it's not as tall, but it was still very impressive in its own right. So.
Okay.
So his fingerprints are all over the place.
So I heard this argument today, which I thought was really funny. Is it a dome? Is it two domes put together, or is it a sphere?
Yes and yes.
I know.
All the above.
But I
mean, it is a sphere, but that's the fun. That's one of the first fun facts you learn about Spaceship Earth once you start diving into it. Was when it was put together, they couldn't build a complete solid sphere, well, hollow, but you know what I mean, a one-piece sphere, and support it. That wasn't going to work engineering-wise, so they came up with the idea of building a table on top of the support legs and then putting probably about the upper 2/3 of the sphere on top of it, and then hanging the remainder underneath of it to get around that structural challenge, which also gave the attraction a good solid foundation to sit on. So to answer that, it is a sphere. It's a true sphere, dimensionally and all that, but technically, yes, it's made of two parts. As is the Spaceship Earth model that I have to go under my Christmas tree that I got from Disney. It's two halves, and I put them together. Not quite the same idea, but
I wish I'd bought.
So yeah,
those.
the idea that it's two parts and the bottom is actually hanging from the table is kind of a neat thing to learn as you start exploring the attraction.
I love the rainwater design on it. Like, the gutters fascinate me. I mean, look, I'm a little nerdy. I mean, I have a podcast about Disney, but I just really think that engineering is really cool. And that's what my son wants to do. You know, he's studying engineering because that's his dream, is to work at Disney and build stuff, rides or something else. So I would have liked to have been in on the meeting, but everybody's going to get wet underneath. It's going to be terrible. No, because we're going to do this. We're going to build these tracks in there. It's going to be 1 inch, and they're going to drain all the water, and we'll put it in this lake.
But we're going to make it one giant wind tunnel too.
Right there, too. So the funny thing about the rainwater, that's also one of those early fun facts you learn when you get like I can't remember if it's in there, the Imagineering Field Guide that we all got, the little book, and all these things. That's one of the facts you hear first. The rainwater does not fall on the guests below. It is channeled away into World Showcase Lagoon by a set of, and I'd heard that, but if someone were to ask me to explain what that actually meant, I would have shrugged my shoulders and went, I don't know. It sounds good. There's no gutter going around the outside, but I'll take their word for it. So it's fun to learn how the sphere was actually put together and how that channel works, and realizing, oh yeah, that is pretty genius. The short version being that there's two spheres. There's an inner sphere and an outer sphere, and the gutter is attached to the inner sphere. And actually, the outer sphere being the triangular panels, that it's not solid. There are gaps between the panels, and if you're in there, you can actually look out between them. So it's just the rainwater just happens to fall through them. It's not anything magical, and then cascades down into the gutter. Meaning it's clever, but it's kind of obvious, and go, oh well, yeah, that makes perfect sense. But until you know that it's two spheres and how that all works, it's one of those things. You hear that, but if someone pressed you to explain it, you might go, I don't know, pixie dust, I guess. I don't know. So that was cool to actually learn about it, and then see construction photos of the channel being put in, and going, aha, there you go. So
just to back up a sec, Caleb says bring back the original Journey, which I'm all for, and I never got to see.
Oh yeah.
I never got to see that. So
So,
we were
It was
looking at
very yes.
So Karen's asking, are all the scenes there now original or the new ones?
There are new ones, and there's updated ones. So when it opened up, most of the scenes up until you get to the planetarium are the same. It's those scenes right at the end. Those are the ones that change over the years, and it's the same problem we have in Tomorrowland, and the same problem we have in the Christmas Room and Carousel of Progress. It's how do you portray the future, but not have it look dated in another 5 years or 10 years and so forth. So those scenes at the end were depicting where we are today and what the future is going to be with computers and whatnot. And it's funny because in the very first version of the attraction, there was a scene of a control room, AT&T, that's who sponsored it, of a computer network. And then I think these scenes came slightly later, but not too long. But you saw, this is what the future will be with computers. And you saw a picture of a boy sitting in his room with this big CRT computer, and a woman working in an office, and she's not on a typewriter. She's working at a computer. What is this? It's like Star Trek. And remember, this is the early 80s, before any of us really had this. So they're funny to see, because now we look at it and go, that's great. But those scenes have changed over the years, and now we have the computer room scene that we have today. The only scene from early on, though, that drastically changed was the Greek outdoor scene. And when the attraction first opened, that was the theater. It was showing you the birth of the theater. And in the Jeremy Irons version, which is my favorite version, by the way, I still remember his narration, and the theater was born. That was when we saw it. And they changed that. Now it's an outdoor classroom, and we're talking about math and the stars and all that. So that's the one scene that did get changed. All the other scenes up until you get to the top are pretty much the same as they were from opening day. So
yeah, and the
whole descent has changed drastically with every iteration, but that's a whole other story.
I would have liked to have seen the dioramas they had in there. Like
they were cool.
Yeah.
I love those.
We started going, I think our first, so I, like you, went as a kid and then never went back. Like we went maybe 2 or 3 times, like 75 through 77, something like that. Yeah. And then, and I lived in Jacksonville, and we went over to Orlando to go out and do stuff all the time, but I just didn't go to Disney. And then I'm pretty sure that our family started going in 2007. So I only know Judi Dench. Like there's a lot of Epcot, and I don't think we went to Epcot the first year. I think we didn't go to Epcot until maybe 2008, 2009. And I think it's cool that Epcot kind of was the hook that, as you described, kind of bringing you in, because my sister's going for the first time in April. And so she's asking me all these questions. Should we skip Epcot? Is it boring? Are the kids going to hate it? And I'm like,
Oh my goodness.
Look, my kids' first time there, they had Maelstrom. You know, I mean, it was awesome, and they loved it. My kids loved Epcot. Like they probably would skip even that little would have skipped Hollywood to go to Epcot. Like they just adored it, which made me so happy as a dad. Because they'd say, "Oh, look, there's the big golf ball," and I'm like, "No, what is it?" And they'd go, "Oh, it's a geodesic dome, Dad. We know." But
Yeah, I think everybody's
call it
totally
I call it the golf ball.
It's the big golf ball. But I'd make them say it correctly just because it was fun. And when the I just saw a video I found today, I'm gonna post it. That the Siemens build your own coaster ride in Future World. Like why they ever got rid of that? That was one of our favorite things to do.
You know, even that one, I couldn't build the upside down one. I couldn't handle it. I would just put scare factor 1 or however you did it. Yeah, I'm not a coaster person.
And so Jennifer says, "Remember the 2000 wand?" See, I never got to see it, but there's so much.
You never saw that?
People lost their minds when they put that wand up there. You can't put a wand up there.
Yeah, it was a little divisive. We'll just put it that way. I grew accustomed to it. My wife can't stand it to this day, but so she was overjoyed when word came that it was finally going to come down. Fun fact though, about that, it's if you want to have a sneaky trivia question you want to put on your friends, you ask them, what is the tallest attraction that's ever been in Walt Disney World? And you have to qualify it by saying not the character balloon in Disney Springs. That doesn't count.
All right,
but you ask them what the tallest attraction is, and you know the conversation is, well, it could be Everest, could be Tower of Terror, is the castle in there, and so on and so on. And then you remind them, well, it's Spaceship Earth, and they go, no, it's not. It's only 180 feet or 186 feet. You remind them about the wand, because when the wand was on there, it soared up to like 250 some odd feet, which far and away was the tallest thing in any of the parks. By good 40, 50 feet. So for a brief moment in time, Spaceship Earth had that lofty title. So,
and the entire castle
the wand
would fit inside Spaceship Earth, is what I read. Is that true?
What was that?
The castle will fit inside of it. You could fit the castle inside of Spaceship Earth. I don't know. These are things I found today in my research.
I mean, the sphere is, get my math right, 160 feet. Castle's 189 feet, so you might have to poke a hole in the top for the top spire. But it's put this way, very close. So yeah.
All right, you said it's right. Spaceship Earth is $180, and the castle's 189, so there'd have to be a little higher.
Yeah. Now Spaceship Earth's 180, but that includes 20 feet or 15 feet beneath it. The sphere itself is only 160 feet. In diameter all the way around.
Well, see, so like, and
or
Karen
165, one of those numbers. So
Karen says she loved the wand, and it's all about what you. So like I miss the sorcerer hat at Hollywood, and I know it's not what was designed to be the weenie and draw you down the street, and I get all that, but that's what was there the first time we went. So that was our Hollywood. You know, if you showed up and the wand was your wand, then that's what you love, right?
Well, that's the thing. And I always have this, when people talk about things they miss and why did they change that and so on and so forth. It does always boil down to the version that you're in love with and the version you don't want to see go away is the version that you grew up with, so to speak. Well, what your introduction was. But it may not have been the first version if you didn't start going to the parks till the 80s or the 90s or whatever. So yeah, if your first exposure to Spaceship Earth was with the wand, then there you go. That's how you know it, and that's how you remember it. So having it come down to you is someone taking away a piece of your childhood and your first memory and all that. So for people who were Spaceship Earth fans long before the wand came, you would see it as what they would complain about. Like they're putting this on there. It was pristine, perfect the way it was before and all that. But yeah, if you grew up with the wand, that's your wand. If you grew up with the sorcerer hat as your introduction, same thing. That's the one I like. And to you, Judi Dench is the narrator. To other people, it's Jeremy Irons. To other people, it's Walter Cronkite, and so on and so forth.
So she'll always have like the most special, like, so for instance, I understand. I mean, we could argue it all day, but fortunately, no, Disney folks don't have strong opinions. So, they'll just go whatever. I know Pirates in California is better than Orlando. It is. It's just in every way. But I love the Orlando one because that's the one I wrote as a kid. I mean, that's the one I have. And so, as we know, so much of Disney is just nostalgia and how it plucks at your heart.
Yeah.
So I thought I was going to break the internet by I put out on Facebook Han Solo or Indiana Jones, and I was actually surprised how many folks picked Indiana and quickly. Andrew had the correct answer with both, and that's true. But if gun to your head, I'd pick Han Solo because I saw Star Wars 5 times in the theater in one day with my grandfather, God rest his soul. What a patient man. But watching him get Harrison Ford get his award the other night, they played the Indiana music, and I was like, oh yeah. But it makes sense. My wife brought this up, and she's, as always, smarter than me. She's like, well, that's his music. Like, it's the Indy theme is just his theme. Yeah. The Star Wars, there was no Han Solo theme. It was just Star Wars music.
That's, what? That's true. And I think if you pressed Harrison Ford, he's much more cool and happy with his Indiana Jones portrayal, and always was kind of grumpy about Han Solo and Star Wars, and really, do I have to do this? But was always about Indy and all that. If you ask me, it's Han Solo, though, because,
See, that's
I had the same story. All right, let me ask you, when you saw it 5 times in one day, was this when it came out originally?
Oh, yeah. I'll never forget, it's a mall called Military Circle, which is no longer a mall, but the building's kind of still there in Norfolk. I live in Virginia Beach. This is in Norfolk, Virginia. So that was the only mall at the time. And I can see it right now. I can smell it. It had, it was inside the mall. It had these, I'm making gestures like anyone can see this. It had a ramp, an in ramp and an out ramp, and it was all orange carpet. The walls were orange carpet.
It's the 70s, man.
Oh man, 70s, awesome. Yep. And my grandfather, we went in, we bought tickets in the morning. We saw it, and he looked at me, and we walked right back down and bought. We didn't cheat. We didn't stay in the theater. We made the loop, went down, bought tickets, went right back in 5 times. We stayed the whole day. It was awesome.
Well, I was the kid who saw it not in one day, but when it was out in that summer, I saw it 13 times in the theater. I was that kid, and my room was. No wall was not covered by a Star Wars poster and all that. And I will still, with friends of mine, I will still get into very passionate discussions, arguments, if we want to call them that film is called Star Wars. Don't come to me calling it A New Hope. It was not called A New Hope.
You're correct.
And I don't want to hear that. Don't even talk about it. And that's the hill I will die on. So
I'm with you,
but I mean, for me, Han Solo. But I love Indy too.
Have you heard the myth about Han Solo with Indiana Jones?
I just heard that. Is that new?
What?
No, it's old.
Go ahead.
That when Han Solo's in carbonate and he's sleeping, he's dreaming about being Indiana Jones.
See, I like that.
I do
Bringing worlds together.
But I just heard that this week, and I thought it was fascinating. Jennifer brings up the birthday cake.
The hat, the birthday cake. Oh, yes. That was like when we first started going, that's when that happened. So one of our first years, that was the castle, the birthday cake. I like the birthday cake. I understand if you being upset, though, if that was your wedding and that was your picture at the Grand Floridian Wedding Pavilion was not the castle, which you've been dreaming of your whole life, but the birthday cake. But it was quite colorful.
I mean, and the same with Star Wars, right? If my son loves 1, 2, and 3, because those were the ones he got to see. Those were his Star Wars.
You mean the prequels?
Yes.
Yeah. No, my daughter's the same way. Her Phantom Menace is her Star Wars, like it was to me. Like when Phantom Menace came out, we went like 7 times to see it. And we're crying all at the same. We're crying when Qui-Gon Jinn dies. We're like holding each other's hand. Yeah, that's her Star Wars, and she's a huge Star Wars person. But yeah,
Tony says Harrison Ford's acceptance speech was it really was. It was awesome.
Yeah, I did see it live. I know it's floating out there. I gotta watch that.
And Karen saw Star Wars at the drive-in.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome. Here's the dream drive-in situation. We went to a triple feature in Palmyra, New Jersey at the drive-in right on the river. Here you go. Star Wars, Close Encounters of the Third Kind, and Jaws. 1, 2, 3. Boom, boom, boom. Oh,
yeah, that is the trifecta.
What a night that was.
I did see Smokey and the Bandit at a drive-in theater. and that film was made for drive-in theater.
Yeah.
Well, seeing Star Wars at a drive-in is neat because right behind the screen is, depending on your drive-in, is the night sky.
Right.
So those space scenes are so much bigger now. So, yeah.
It's funny. So in saying all of that, Dame Judi Dench will always be my narrator. However, and if it really made me pick, I think I probably would say I do. If I was going to listen to one, I do love Jeremy Irons, like his voice and his inflection, and the script is really good. But I love Walter Cronkite. Like, I just love that guy. His biography, if you haven't read his biography, it's incredible. Well worth the read. He's fascinating.
You know what I thought would be fun to do when you're in the beginning of Spaceship Earth and you're just starting out, and you have to pick the country you're in, and look up at the camera and pick their language, and so I've written it so many times. I've ended up sometimes I pick Japanese as the language just to hear something different, you know. And for fun, I like to say I live in like Madagascar or New Zealand or Iceland or something, just so I can see my face fly off to a place where nobody else is on the map, because there's a big glob of dots in the Northeast and a big glob of dots on Florida, but there's none over in that corner, so I'll claim it. But what if they give you that option, and then pick your narrator?
That would be cool.
That would be awesome. Now, they might have to re-record or somehow finagle the scenes that have changed. So,
well, that was the question I asked today. Well, I mean, look, I'm not advocating AI. If you hate AI, it's Andrew at butmostlydisney.com. Please send him all your email. But you probably could take the scenes where it's changed a little bit and let some kind of AI voice thing, make it close enough, at least.
I would be troubled by it.
Right. Or just let it run the way it's supposed to. And if you don't like it, don't pick Jeremy Irons.
This is how bad AI is now. We're having meetings at work about bringing AI into the car world.
Really?
Like 2-hour meetings about it. So it can be done. If we can depict somebody's voice tone, if they're upset or happy on the phone, depicting on who needs to talk to them, you can get somebody's voice pretty much spot on.
Wow.
This would be a good time for me to point out, and I feel like I am going to make a point of saying this with new books and stuff. There was no AI used in the creation of this book. No AI writing, no AI art. It's done the old-fashioned way with research and writing and scribbling and erasing and tossing that paper in the trash can and starting over again. So.
Well, and that's what's cool. And I love books. Like I read on my phone or like everyone else because it's convenient and it's easy. And a lot of times I do audiobooks, which sometimes is good, sometimes is bad. If you haven't read The Boys in the Boat, by the way, skip the movie. The audio version of that might be the best audiobook ever recorded. It's just incredible. It's and I can't think of his name now. He was in Lost Boys. He was the head lead vampire, the dad. You know what I'm talking about? Anyway.
I did not see that film, so I can't tell you.
You would know exactly who it is. I just can't think of it.
I probably know the name. Everybody hit Google.
Look it up. Anyway, but holding your book, Tim, and having those pictures in my hand, it's just better. It's like Mark Davis's books.
Is that Edward Herman?
Edward Herman, yes, thank you. God, that would have driven me insane. His voice, it's like he was born to read that book. It's just wild. He was in a bunch of stuff. You'd know exactly who he was. He's famous. I just can't think of anything he was in now that I'm trying to talk about him. I'm really good at this. Okay, so this was the question I asked today on Facebook is who's the best? And I think most people say Jeremy Irons. If you Google who's the best on the internet, it comes back with Jeremy Irons. But who's next? Who do we have next? Who do we want next for our narrator?
Well, to be fair, my Spaceship Earth experience started with Jeremy Irons, so I actually didn't hear. Technically, it had to have been Walter Cronkite doing the math, but I honestly don't remember that. So I didn't have other than watching videos today. I haven't really heard the other ones. So I'll go Dame Judi Dench just because that's who I'm used to now.
Right.
And I enjoy her narration very much. And it's so, the weird thing to realize, and I don't know what it says. I think it says, I'm getting old and I got to watch out here, but just realizing, to me, the Dame Judi Dench version is the new version, and it just came around. That version has lasted far longer than any other version of Spaceship Earth, which is kind of a humbling thing to think about, because to me, it just changed, and I miss Jeremy Irons, and he was there forever, and not compared to Dame Judi Dench anymore, because that's been the version for quite a long time now. So those are my 1 and 2. Yeah.
Who do you want next?
I was thinking somebody like Tom Selleck.
Ooh.
Deep voice.
Morgan Freeman.
There you go.
I want
Brett
Chris
Irwin?
Hemsworth. I want a little Thor action in my
That would be fun.
Spaceship Earth.
And Brett Irwin, we could have Mickey Mouse do it. Why not?
You know how many people would be upset if you did that?
They're going to be upset anyway.
Yeah, they're going to just throw.
That's true.
It's going to be sacrilege no matter what you do.
Separation of that, and actually the wand actually was, going back to that, one of the reasons it was so divisive was that notion that Epcot before then, and especially when it opened, was there were no Disney characters in Epcot. This was not like the Magic Kingdom. There's no characters. There's no movies. This is totally different. And when the characters started being introduced into places, that's when you got, as you know, when change comes, Disney fans get upset. But that was upsetting to a lot of people. And the wand was a big thing, because this is supposed to be, like, the original idea was this was future world and edutainment and a different take on things and a nod to Walt Disney's vision of the city of the future and so on, and expressly not a park of characters and films and all that kind of stuff. And there's Mickey's hand right on top there, and that was kind of a wait a minute, kind of same reaction when you have, like, Nemo coming to the seas, or Donald Duck coming to Mexico, or Frozen Ever After coming. There's always that, I don't know if they should be in here. This is supposed to be different. So,
but
that was probably the biggest version of that.
Back to what Michael Eisner said too. This is a Disney park. Where are all the characters at?
I think I am Team Eisner on this one. I just wanted to retain. I wanted a good melting pot of it, right? I wanted to keep all of the edutainment kind of stuff in there, but just like I like the Three Amigos ride. I love Three Caballeros. Although a Three Amigos ride would be a lot of fun. But I like the Three Caballeros. It's one of my favorite shows, and I know people say it, and I don't know if they mean it. I do miss Maelstrom. I loved
Maelstrom.
I liked knowing what the gross GDP of Norway was. I liked seeing how the oil went out. I thought it was fascinating.
I'll give you a hot take. Not only did I like Maelstrom, I loved the movie.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I was the person that sat and stayed in the movie, giving the evil eye to everyone who was walking through. Like, where are you going? We're not done yet.
I never understood that.
I love that movie.
We did that. My wife and I did Epcot and Animal Kingdom without doing any attractions. Nothing but shows, movies, you know, and Animal Kingdom
go.
trails. And I mean, look, I love the rides, but it was 2 of the best days I've ever had at Disney.
No stress.
Yeah, it does. It takes all the stress out.
Yes, it does.
You know, we hadn't seen the China film in a long time because
Yeah.
you got to make cuts, right? Like you can't do it all. Even as much as we go, I can't. There's still stuff I haven't done. Oh, look, Billy Thorpe popped in. Hey, buddy, how's it going? That's nice of you to start swing by. If you want to learn how to make some money with the internet, Billy is your guy. I've been following his stuff and watching. He does some live videos. Really smart guy, and fascinating. There's so much going on the internet that I don't even know how to keep up. Like I really could have a full-time job just looking at new stuff on the internet. If only there was a theme park that did all of this stuff, had a future world where I could learn.
Maybe they call it Communicore Hall.
Yeah, we could do it in Communicore. There's space in there.
There's a lot of space.
That is one thing about the version today versus the Jeremy Irons version. And this I do miss a lot is you talked about the dioramas and that descent that they used to have. And now the descent is pick your future and da-da-da-da-da. But the idea that now Spaceship Earth, as far as the scenes go, stops with ancient history. At this point, ancient history. The computer being invented in the garage, which is, we're going back 40 plus years at this point. That's where it stops. And then from that point on, now you're doing the little video game. Whereas before, you did get the attempt at showing this is what the future could be. And that's where you saw the dioramas of people video chatting and which today seems silly because that's what we all do now. But at the time, you didn't do that. And this was a kind of a prediction of what was to come. And I do miss that part because it takes you up till like Carousel of Progress takes you up to recent, but it's still many years ago where we're not looking forward.
Right.
Yet. So I kind of missed that part.
So so here's a fun little exercise. Let's assume that you can't add another scene on, right? Like it doesn't work. You have to go through the garage and then have the big reveal.
Right.
If you had to, if you could with just like it was Legos and you could just slide it all back one, what would you take out to add, a future?
Oh, of the
current animatronic
prior scenes.
Right.
Oh man, that's a wow, that's a brutal question. Let's see. Wow. Do you have an answer?
I do not. I just thought of the question.
Wow.
Okay. I try not to have answers. I try just to questions.
I think we need to put that one on the Facebook page and see what comes up.
Yeah.
I would probably take out one of when you have that quick telegraph, telephone, movie, television, like that sequence, you could probably consolidate that some, I would think.
Condense that just a bit.
Maybe but I'm loath to pick which one because I like them all. But
and I mean, even the computer scene,
IBM scene.
It's big. It's a really, you're trying to show how big the computers were, but could you give that same illusion? Get back 10 feet, and okay,
can we cheat and do it that way?
And why? Yeah, sure, we can do whatever we want.
That sounds like we're cheating.
I'm not like Lou. I have no rules. Do whatever you want.
You don't have any rules either.
I mean, we did just kind of on this one apply some laws of physics, and those stay the same. But all right. So as we're doing that, is it Wozniak or Jobs sitting there in the garage?
It's neither. It's neither. It is. Well, officially, it's not. It's an amalgam of that kind of person.
Right.
So it's not meant to be literally one or the other. So
look, see, you're famous. Michael says he's been listening to you for many years.
Hi, Michael. Oh, Lewis. Who's I think on another continent right now, another state. I don't know where he is.
I think he's back on land.
Yeah, I think he's returned to land.
Yeah, I think he's only.
I got him briefly at home, but he was quick to tell me in 2 days I'm on the road again, and then I'm going across the ocean. So
he's got a tough life. I mean, I feel for him.
It's hard being Lou.
It is.
But
He works.
wait,
he
we were
works.
talking about. I was going to ask you something. What we were just talking about.
We were gonna Wozniak.
Oh yeah, that. Well, no, there's also and I don't have the person's name in front of me. But the woman in the computer scene is also. Some people think she's meant to be a reference to an actual computer scientist person back in the day.
Oh, really?
And again, it's kind of
with the go-go boots and the afro, like that lady.
Yeah, yeah.
She is by far the best character on that.
Yeah,
ride.
and she's also an amalgam of a couple people too. So which I wasn't aware of until I read the book. It's one of those things people I think saw it and kind of in their own mind put two and two together. Is that meant to be this person or that person? And
Andrew said he'd throw in rockets, and you'd have to, right? Because you start doing satellites. And look, Matthew.
Well, yeah, you have satellite communications. We didn't even married to. I know those married to a Disney addict people.
Yeah, they're the best.
Hey, hello, friends.
they run a real podcast that has organization and questions and research and a format, as opposed to Tuesday nights. I'm going to close my eyes, press a button, and hope it works.
Yeah. It's it's 2 o'clock in the afternoon. What are we talking about?
I'll throw out my self-serving plug here. If you listen to the current issue or edition of the Celebrations Disney podcast,
there you go.
Our special guests are married to a Disney addict. We had them on the show this week. So it was tons of fun.
They're the best. I really, really love them. Oh, and Michael says somebody bounded as her in the Princess Weekend.
Saw a lady dressed as who?
As the computer funk lady with the
boots. That's awesome.
Yeah,
Ooh, I want to do. That's awesome.
What? So what did? What?
Here. Now I'll throw Lou under the bus because he's not here. And this.
Yeah, why not? He didn't listen.
So
if he was here, he could defend himself.
Drive away.
He has not only ruined that scene for me, he has ruined an icon in the history of comedic genius for me. Because he, early on when that scene first popped up and we were talking about it, he planted in my head that all he can see when he goes into that scene is the guy. And to him, that's Jerry Lewis. And every time I hear that, I go into that scene, all I hear is Lou, because he did this constantly. Lou's voice going, "Hey, lady," when that scene comes in, doing his Jerry Lewis. And he's ruined that scene for me. And he has ruined the comedic team of Martin and Lewis and every other thing. Not that I ever followed him anyway, but I always think that when I go through that scene. And now you all will too.
Thanks I'm just so glad you could bring us down with you.
Once you see it, you can't unsee it, apparently. At least I can't. So.
Okay, I got another. Here's another hot take for you. I hate that. I'm sorry I said that.
I said it 5 minutes ago. So.
Okay, is it Rome burning? Or is it the Library at Alexandria burning?
It's Rome burning.
It is Rome. Okay.
Well, yeah. I mean,
I thought it was the Library of Alexandria burning.
Well, I think all of Rome burned, including the Library of Alexandria.
But that was the Library of Alexandria was in Africa. So I guess technically,
do I need to go to Google? No.
Yeah, the Library of Alexandria was in Africa, wasn't it?
I thought so.
I Googled this, but I don't want to mess up our thing.
No. All right, I'll do it. Let's see. I was wrong once before, so.
Well, see, now if you're right, then that's a whole.
It was in Egypt. So, what was it I saw? I've been watching, again, here's a weird aside. I can't remember the guy's name. He's a British comedian, Richard, and his last name's difficult to pronounce. Ideola. He's really funny. And he said something the other day on the show, and the guy said, well, not to be pedantic, but when in Rome. And he said, well, not to be pedantic back, but we're not in Rome, which I thought was really funny. But I guess
I'll have to look that up. Now you got me intrigued. I think you've hit upon a question here.
So the Library of Alexandria was in Alexandria in Egypt. That library was definitely in Egypt. But technically it was part of Rome. Well, no, in Rome, it would have been part of the Roman Empire, but was it Rome? So I've always seen those candles, Rome burning. Enjoy the scent of Rome burning at home. but maybe
Well,
it's
it's not Rome.
Alexandria.
I think you have to give it just go with it, kind of like the whole
Yeah.
Phoenicians inventing the alphabet bit, which
Right, which
technically
right.
No.
yes, no, depending on how nitty gritty you want to get. So we
Ooh,
could just do that, or we can just step back a few feet and go, yeah, Rome burn, whatever, it's fine, you know. Phoenicians, thank you, Phoenicians.
Thank
It's
you.
fine.
I wish I'd bought that shirt. They had a great shirt. I don't know why they don't sell it all the time. Yeah, and so Matthew says thing, Rome controlled Egypt, which is true. But is Rome a city? Is it Roman Empire? These are the little stupid things that keep me up at night. And just going back, Karen says she would not want to run in go-go boots. No.
I don't think those boots were made for walking. They weren't made for running. You see what I did there?
I love that. Was well done.
So we were on the one. We were on the. They're talking about the when you get to the computer scene, the garage scene. Somebody in front was like, "Oh yeah, that's Steve Jobs because he drove a Vega, and that's just similar." I'm like, and we got the ride, and I was like, "Steve Jobs drove a Mercedes Benz, and didn't drive a Vega." And the guy was like, "Oh no, you're wrong. It's Steve Jobs." I'm like, "No, it's not depicting anybody. It's just somebody sitting in a garage."
The dude.
This guy wanted to argue with me that it was a job. I'm like, "Look it up. It'll tell you." But he's like, "It was because he drove a Vega." I'm like, "No, it's not."
I think if you think it's one of the two, the Imagineers wouldn't be upset because they probably would at least put them in your head because, yeah, we're talking about that's not literally them. My favorite part of that scene, though, is actually, I don't know how many people know this, the poster on the wall of Fleetwood Mac.
Oh.
And which, if that's Steve Jobs or Wozniak, you know what he's inventing on the table there.
Right.
Is the Mac. So that was which I guess you could argue is another clue in the identity of that person. There's a Fleetwood Mac on the poster. It's right there. It's screaming at us. It says Mac. That's a Mac. That's a guy inventing the Mac. We know who that was.
That's brilliant.
You can take that up with the Imagineers, but
I'm always trying to look at the screen. I want to know what he's typing. I want to see the code.
The Christmas tree lights are in the box.
Yep.
So
the pizza box always throws me.
And Matthew, who
you drove the entire it was. Oh, here we go. Married to a Disney. They viewed Rome as the entire empire. It was an entity. I think they referred to the city.
He's
of Rome.
A history teacher,
right?
I'm in. That's it. That's it. Mark it down. We have solved it. Finished. Good.
What was in your research? What was the coolest thing like that you didn't know about Spaceship Earth?
Oh man,
or a couple things.
What? Well, a fun, and this is a little silly thing, is when you're going through. Speaking of Rome burning, which by the way, I always suggest to Disney, and they should have at the exit of Spaceship Earth, as you're coming out and going back to Epcot, they should have a little food stand with like barbecue. They would make a killing if they did that because we all smell. I always think of Whispering Canyon when I'm going through that scene, but
or shawarma.
But right after that, you have the Islamic scholar scene. And on the right-hand side are the scholars that are sitting on the ground. And this I did not know until I was researching it. The wall behind them is actually the door to the service elevator that runs all the way up and down through Spaceship Earth. Whose ground level entrance is the mirrored pylon you pass by as you go to the entrance. So, and I had no idea that was the case. And there you go. So it'll just slide open and there you go. So that was cool to learn. So,
and see Andrew Prince, the same thing. The elevator behind the mirrors, which he learned from Tim.
Which we learned from Tim. Yeah.
I like that there's an escape hatch at the very top, and that's how they got Mickey up there.
Yeah,
that's cool.
I always wondered how that happened.
Yeah. And but reading just how it was constructed, all the nitty gritty and the two spheres and the standoffs and the channel and all that was really cool. Although I guess I kind of knew that before that anyway, but
it's nice to have like, it's funny. In one of the videos I watched today to just kind of see if I could dig up anything weird, one of the guys, and I didn't look at how old the video was, said there's no book written about Spaceship Earth.
Well,
there is now. My friend. You were
Well, that's partly
absolutely right.
why I write these, or I like doing these, because I'm a Disney book nerd, and I always, when I go to the parks, I always try and get one, and I always think like what kind of book I would want to buy, and I'm thinking there are no books about Spaceship Earth, about Journey into Imagination, Small World, like to this level, you know. And actually, the idea kind of came about. I was going to do a book on like the lands, like Adventureland. I was going to start with, and then I was going to split it up into a little history of the Jungle Cruise and pirates. And as the more I started digging into it, I realized very quickly something like pirates or Jungle Cruise or whatever I could write a whole book about it. And I realized, well, why not? Let's give it a shot. So, and you'd think it'd be hard to fill up a book about one attraction, but like I said, these attractions, Spaceship Earth being a prime example, there's so much to learn and so much to discover with every aspect of it, not just the attraction, what's going on inside, but the history of it. And for some of these older attractions, its history connected to Disney and Walt Disney himself and the parks and how important they are. So it's like with the It's a Small World book, it was that idea. This ties into Walt Disney and animatronics and the World's Fair and so much important things that were going on. So,
And it's so cool because, and I'm like you, I love reading the books. And so we love the parks. I love going. If I could never go again, there's still so much out there that I love about Disney, and really more than the cartoons and the movies I grew up with. You know, I really just I love Walt, and I love the Imagineers and how they did what they did. And like one of my I quote Bob Gurr all the time. I have two autographs. I have Bob Gurr and I have Dick Van Dyke's. I'm not an autograph person.
Oh wow!
But I love Bob Gurr, and he said that if I'd had formal training in engineering, I would have told Walt there was no way we could do any of this. You know, I love that idea. You know, when Walt says it's fun to do the impossible, you know, that they really were doing things that probably were impossible until they weren't. You know, and I love I love that kind of gumption. And, you know, because you can know too much and be dangerous and hurt yourself, right? At least I hope so, because I feel like I need that kind of disorganization in my life in order to move through. I read, and if you're looking for a good book, Ken Bruce came on the show. He's a storyboard animator, was with Pixar, Disney. He works for Family Guy now, but he wrote a book about the Tiki Room, and I learned more stuff about Walt from that book than almost any other.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got a lot of really new, fascinating information that I've never heard anywhere. Because that's the thing, when you start looking at it, a lot of it you end up hearing the same things over and over again. And that's why, like, your books are so important, because I'm just jonesing. I want new stuff, you know?
Yeah.
I want more.
Like I can't pull any out, but I did find so many things out that I didn't know before, that's half the fun of doing these, is when I get to find out some things I didn't know. Trying to think of one, I can't remember, but so many. One will pop into my head in about 5 minutes, and I'll interrupt you and tell you what it is.
Yeah, but that would be great. You feel free. I did not looking back today, like all of the music that they've had in Spaceship Earth. Like some of the songs were a little I'm not sad they're gone.
Like what?
Didn't they have a song like the one I heard today, like it had words about a little boy, future boy or something.
Tomorrow's.
Yeah. And I like cheesy Disney music. I do. But I'm not sad or missing that.
Well, it's funny because that was one thing. Well, that was not having really seen the original two versions. That was something I was learning too, like what the situation was with the music and the narration. Oh, the narration could be something we can come back to, because that's something I didn't know, and I think we finally figured it out. But the music I didn't know, because like I said, I started with the Jeremy Irons version, and that musical score is one that will make me cry. It's so beautiful. And like to this day, I have the loop of that saved in my computer. The ending crescendo as you're descending, and it will bring me to tears. So I was going to say, if that's what you're talking about, we're going to have words, but you weren't.
No.
And I love the new score. And what was fascinating is to learn that in the original the original version, there was virtually no music in there at all. There was some incidental atmospheric music way in the background, but nothing that was memorable or you were really meant to pay attention to. And then the second version was the song you talked about. And yeah, to hear it now, it's very 80s. It is very cliched, and it's in hindsight, it's kind of makes you squirm as you're hearing it. But so I much if that was the music I was listening to, I'm not sure, but we moved on to the orchestral scores we have now, which are some of the best music I've ever heard at Disney. Those not just this score, but the score from the Jeremy Irons version too.
Well, and you were going to say something about the narration.
Oh, that was one thing. So the one, and I think this is finally settled, I hope. The identity of the original narrator was is Vic Perrin, who did it. And we all knew that. We knew that for years. And then all of a sudden the story came out. No, that's not Vic Perrin. That's Lou Dobkin, who's an actor. And that evidently came from Marty Sklar himself, who said something along the lines of, I don't know why people always thought that it was Lou Dobkin. So if you Google right now, if you go to the internet and ask who was the original narrator for Spaceship Earth, you're going to get a mix of both answers. Because a lot of websites say Lou Dobkin, because everyone glommed onto that as soon as that came out. Oh, Marty Sklar said it was Lou Dobkin, so everybody changed all of their information. But then people started questioning, well, hold on a second. Why was it not Vic Perrin? That's what we all thought. And then people started listening to the two voices, and I don't know, it sounds an awful lot like Vic Perrin. And eventually an Imagineer came out and said, no, I was there. It was Vic Perrin. I don't know why Marty Sklar thinks that. He was mistaken. It's not. That doesn't keep people from thinking that's who it is. I think it's 99.999% sure that was Vic Perrin. And as far as why Marty Sklar said Lou Dobkin, we don't know. I do know Lou Dobkin did work with the Universe of Energy Pavilion. So it could have just been a case of kind of mixing names up there.
Well, and we get a lot of that.
The thing that I've learned, which is kind of, I don't know if annoying is quite the word, the fact that we don't know this for sure is kind of fascinating. This is Disney. This is Epcot. This is one of the most popular parks in the entire world. Surely in some corner of a filing cabinet, there's got to be a tape that says recorded by, and apparently no one's found the rock solid evidence that says where it is. It's just a bunch of people thinking, I think it was. I'm pretty sure it was. Yeah, it was. Wasn't it? Yeah. And memories, and which I think is really fascinating that that's not known, Well, and I guess why Dave Smith started the archives, this realization that all these things aren't really being kept as much as they probably should be. So,
and that there's an appetite for it, right? That there's a lot of folks who want to know these things. Really, it's important to them.
I think Google that's what was going on. People were thinking, well, who cares? Nobody's going to care who did this. And you're kind of lazy about record keeping and all that kind of thing. And only to find out, no, these Disney fans, they want to know, and this is important to a lot of people. So
I'm interested to see, after watching Handcrafted about Disneyland, if they have the same kind of footage for Disney World, because I'd watch all of that too. I mean, you figure they had to have hired a camera team. It would seem like, for that anyway, right?
You got somebody or a script. Somebody had to hire him. Somebody had to pay him. There's got to be a tape somewhere,
right?
You would think, or a logbook, a record book, something.
I keep meaning to say this. Buckman, not that Buckminster Fuller was ever a hero of mine. I just thought he was fascinating. But Ray Bradbury was.
Yes.
And that's incredible. I can't remember where I was the first time I heard that Ray Bradbury wrote that script, but I was just blown away. Away.
Yeah, that's a fun thing to learn. Actually, I read this story about he and Walt Disney met, which is funny, because you think of somebody like Ray Bradbury and Walt Disney meeting, and you're thinking this big momentous occasion, and there's balloons and shaking hands and dignitaries, and this is important, and it's just two guys meet in a store. Let's have lunch, and we'll go in the back of the card table and kind of chat and come around and see what's going on. So it was really fascinating to hear the story of how they met. But yeah, knowing that it was him who put the story together. It was Buckminster Fuller who lent the name Spaceship Earth to the entire project and some of the concept, and of course Marty Sklar in there. And then I do want to mention Peggy Ferris, who's someone I didn't really know much about before I did the book, but Peggy Ferris, who is amazing. But somebody not many people probably know about. A lot of Disney fans might not know about her as a important Imagineer along the lines of a Marty Sklar or somebody like that. But she's the one who actually, when it came time to, all right, there's the rough story. Now you have the task of coming up with telling the entire history of human communication in a 10, 15-minute ride, broken down to seeds that are only going to last 30 seconds at the most. What are you going to pick? How can you possibly figure out what? There's so much to choose from. How do you whittle that down? Once you do whittle that down, how do you convey all that in 20, 30 seconds? And she's the one who did all that. So it was an incredible job that she had done. And I read the details about it. She did it. We talk about it in the book. And it's just fascinating to not only saying that she did that, but to the level of detail they went to make sure everything was right in terms of who they reached out to and universities and professors and scientists to make sure that every detail was right. Details you and I would never know if they were wrong, but they're not. Like the Egyptian hieroglyphics are actually real hieroglyphics, and they were trained how to read them, and all that stuff. So that was really fascinating to learn.
It's just incredible. I don't think I've ever been to, okay, so let's end it here. We can go around real quickly. How long would you wait in line for Spaceship Earth? Like, would you wait an hour for
it? See, as much as I love it, I know if I go there and I see there's any sort of line, I do something else and come back. So
well, that's because we're smart, right? Because we know it breathes.
Well, you can
right?
too. The thing with Spaceship Earth, and I always do tell people this. It's if it's a normal day, not like a very crowded day or a nobody's in the park day, but on a normal day, Spaceship Earth gets these surges,
right?
And all depending on when people are coming into the park, because it's the first thing you see, and it's unless you have a lightning lane for Ratatouille Adventure and are you're on a mission to get back there. If you're just walking in the park, that's where you're going first. So I've been in there on an average day where you can walk in the park and there's really nobody. You can just walk in. Then you circle around, you come back, and there's like an hour line. And it's because a big tour group came in or the monorail just let out or something like that. So I always do that. If there's any kind of long line, I know it's going to go down later if I just kind of go do something else. So I kind of cheat. I'm not a big one to wait in line, but
no, and it's a crazy one because it can go from an. I don't think I've ever, not in recent history, seen it over an hour, right? Even if you have.
When we were just down, they had a cheerleading competition. It was an hour and 20 minutes.
Yeah, well, that happens. You get these big groups and you might as well just go do something else.
But it's something you have to do. Like if you're not us, if you don't go every year, you have to do it. Now, when we only went once a year, I know we waited a long time for it. I wouldn't have missed it. I mean, it was something, or we got a fast pass for it. I mean, you just, you can't go to Epcot and not go on Spaceship Earth. You can't do it.
Well, that is one of the nice things about it though, because it does fluctuate. Like if you give somebody that tip, if it's busy, don't panic. Don't freak out. Come back a little later, or you'll probably find it's a walk on. Now, what's worse is though when you get to go on and it's broken down. And
there's been plenty of times we've been walking out to go back to the resort, and we'll turn around and it's a 10-minute wait. We'll make a U-turn and ride it for a second time.
Now, Andrew brought up. I'm surprised that they don't have a couple of accessible cars on there. Like that's surprising.
There are. In fact, we ride one. What do you mean accessible?
So he's in a wheelchair.
Yeah, there aren't any.
I don't know.
Well,
he would
because
know.
my wife has a scooter. To answer your question, I've actually haven't really waited in line because we always go into the back anyway because we go to the access entrance, and I'm pretty sure. Maybe I don't know if there's a car for wheelchair. I thought there was. We can transfer, so we don't have that issue. But
Gotcha. And maybe
I'm
can.
pretty sure I've seen.
Like it seems like they would have been able to.
I'll take his word for it, but I kind of assumed there was.
Throw a few in there. It's a shame because I just love being on that ride. Like, I mean, we'll ride it multiple times.
Well, he says nope. I have to transfer, so there is no accessible car.
Yeah, it's a transfer. Okay. Which is me. That's why I didn't realize that. So, yeah, why they should do that. I don't know why they don't do that. Curious.
Well, I don't want to keep you for too long because I can keep going. But I did make dinner and
I'm not going anywhere. But
well, I made a surf and turf tonight, and my and my daughter's home, and I haven't eaten. So Andrew says, just in case you're listening and don't know, you do have to be able to walk a few steps. So it's not like a side by side.
Oh, because it continuously turns.
Maybe so, but they'll usually stop it for that. I wonder if they just can't get to it close enough.
Well, I guess the point is there's no usually some of these attractions like that. There's a vehicle that's specially set up for that. I guess there isn't one on Spaceship Earth, so. I mean, you can go in the back and not have to go in line, but yes, you have to be able to walk up and do whatever. So.
Well, Tim, tell us where to find you and where to buy the book.
Well, you can head on over to celebrationspress.com. And you can find the book there, our other books, the magazine, our podcast for you Married to a Disney Addict fans, because they stole the show this week, so you can listen to them. And that's where we are.
And if you're not subscribed to the newsletter, please do. But I did, and I'll leave it in there for a couple of weeks. I did put a link in there in the newsletter to go straight to where you can purchase this book because you're going to want to have it.
Subscribe to the magazine too. It's a pretty good magazine from what
I've heard that.
Spring
if only we knew someone.
Just mailing.
And it's fun to get mail because there's no good mail anymore. Like I hate going to the mailbox. It's either ads or I owe somebody money.
I got my mailed copy of the spring issue, which is just hitting mailboxes, and I was excited, even though I've read it already. But I got mail, and it wasn't somebody trying to, tell me to seed my lawn or tell me how to retire rich or whatever it was.
Right. Or I've been pre-approved. Thanks.
Exactly.
Lucky me. I've always wanted to be pre-approved because I don't get a lot of regular approvals. So. Andrew, did you pop a video up on YouTube this week?
Nope, just about done editing. Took a little longer than I wanted to, but
it always does.
It does, but it'll be up by Friday.
Cool. And then if you need more of me, then just if you type in, but I think if you type in just mostly Disney now, I think you can find us. But we're here. Maybe not St. Patrick's Day, but I know we have a show between then and now, don't we? I think that'd be the 10th. So yeah. But on the 17th, I will be in the parks, maybe go live, maybe not. So hopefully we'll see you next week. And then check out Tim's podcast because it's awesome. And again, Tim, thanks so much for being here. I really, really appreciate it.
Thank you, guys. This is always a blast. We're going to do it again.
Yes.
But I'm not going to wait for the next book. So we'll try to get you on.
No. There's plenty of stuff to talk about.
Maybe we'll just go just full guns at Lou and we'll do a top 10 because that would be fun.
Ooh.
If only
top
someone
11 do one more than he does.
Just one more. Ours goes to 11.
Top 10 is a registered trademark of Lou Mangello.
That's right. Ours go to 11. We'll do a special.
That's the podcast. Ours go to 11. Disney
done.
Stuff. There you go.
Cool. Done. We'll put you on the calendar. Thanks, guys. Thanks, Tony. Thanks, Caleb. Thanks, Andrew, Matthew. Thanks for stopping by, buddy. And Karen, as always, appreciate you being there. Jennifer, thanks so much, guys, and we'll see you next week.
See you.